Hi guys, welcome back to Java Programming. This is episode 23 in which we are going to talk about files and I/O. These are the contents which we'll cover today. First we'll see an introduction to I/O, then we'll see introduction to byte and character, then we'll see byte streams, then character streams, then we'll see an introduction to standard streams, and finally standard streams. So let's start. Introduction to I/O. Java I/O is used to process the input and produce the output. Java makes use of streams to make I/O operations fast. The Java I/O package contains all the classes required for input and output operations. Okay, there are three types of stream: output stream, input stream, and error stream. A stream is a sequence of data. System.out is standard output stream. System.in is standard input stream. System.err is standard error stream. Let's see the code to print output and error message to the console. Now if I type in the code system.out.println, I'm going to use output stream. But whereas if I type in system.err.println, it will be error stream. Now let's see the code to get input from console. I create an integer variable and I make use of system.in.read method, which is going to return me ASCII code of first character. And then I print that thing. Introduction to byte, character, and standard streams. Java byte streams are used to perform input and output of 8-bit bytes, though there are many classes related to byte streams, but the most frequently used classes are file input stream and file output stream. Following is an example which makes use of these two classes to copy an input file into an output file. This is an example which we'll see in a minute. Java byte streams are used to perform input and output of 8-bit bytes, whereas Java character streams are used to perform input and output for 16-bit Unicode. Though there are many classes related to character streams, but the most frequently used classes are file reader and file writer. Though internally file reader uses file input stream and file writer uses file output stream, but here the major difference is that file reader reads 2 bytes at a time, whereas file writer writes 2 bytes at a time. Now coming on to our example, we have a bkf copy file, then we have a main method which throws IO exception. We create instances of two class, file input stream and file output stream. We initialize them to null. Then we make use of two files. Input.txt is my output files from which I'm going to read the text, and output.txt is my output file into which I'm going to write the contents of input.txt. And make use of two constructors, file input stream and file output stream. Then until I reach the end of file, -1 denotes the end of file, I'm going to write the input from input.txt to the output object, which ultimately points to my output file. And here's the output which I get. Now this was using byte streams. Now let's see the same program using character streams. So again, my class, my main method, I create again two instances of two class, file reader and file writer. I initialize them to null. Then I make use of two files, input.txt and output.txt. Input.txt is the file from which I'm going to read the input, and I'm going to use that input to write that thing into an output file. Output.txt is my output file. Now again, until I reach the end of file, I'm going to read the contents from input.txt and I'm going to write those contents into output.txt. And here's the output which I get. Now introduction to standard streams. All the programming languages provide support for standard I/O where the user's program can take input from a keyboard and then provide an output on the computer screen. If you are aware of C or C++ programming languages, then you must be aware of three standard devices: stdin, stdout, and stderr. Similarly, Java provides the following three standard streams: standard input, standard output, and standard error. Standard input is used to feed the data to user's program, and usually a keyboard is used as standard input stream and represented as system.in. Standard output is used to output the data produced by the user's program, and usually a computer screen is used for standard output stream and represented as system.out. Standard error is used to output the error data produced by the user's program, and usually a computer screen is used for standard error stream and represented as system.err. Following is a simple program which creates input stream reader to read standard input stream until the user types a Q. Now this is our example. My class, my main method. I create an instance of input stream reader and I initialize that to system.in. Now I print this enter characters Q to quit. Now I create a char variable and then I start reading the input. Now, until and unless I encounter a queue, I'm going to be reading the contents. So as soon as I encounter a queue, I come out of that loop and I close my application. That is where my application ends. So this is the output which we get.